Time now for part 2 of Dream Car Championship. So we've now done 4 races, and as you might have guessed, I have managed to win all 4 races so far. So now, let's move on to part 2, where we are doing races 5 to 7. And then afterwards, we will do the final 3 races afterwards. So, yeah. As we now head to Hong Kong. This could be interesting. But either way, I do have a pretty good handling car. I'm also pretty sure the racing slick tyres are pretty durable as well for me to get through this without too many issues. So, we are now beginning race 5. As we are here at Hong Kong. Or more specifically, we are at Hong Kong Harbour. Let's see how we do around here compared to how we've done in the first 4 races. As I already cleared the Honda, and now I have managed to clear the Toyota RSC as well. And trying to see if I could dive down the outside of the FTO, however that did not work. But it's fine because I got alongside him and I pretty much blitzed him as we got to the exit of the hairpin. So 5.2 seconds is the gap to the Pagani. I should be able to catch him, but again, I do need to be careful. I know the AI from time to time can be pretty strong around Hong Kong, but I am seeming to close that gap now. The Zonda did build up an early lead, but I have established as my hard tyres get more rubber into the asphalt, that is how I can catch him, if possible. He's not too far ahead of me. Gap is now 3 seconds flat. And as we get down the straightaway, that gap is going to close up even more. And just as I would have guessed, this is very much going to be my playground. In terms of how I see myself compared to the Zonda. I was trying to see if I could sneak up the inside, but he shut the door on me. I will at least give him a credit for going on the defensive. Of course, I know in real life I would never be able to attempt that on a course like this, because it would simply damage my quarter panel. Oh, yep, I went too deep. That was not intentional, by the way. I just went too deep and I was caught up in the draft. Probably because I realised on the straightaway I did not need to upshift. But either way, I'm still right behind him. So not really able to look for a position in terms of passing him yet. Which means if I am going to pass him, I'm going to have to pass him using a dive bomb. And that's what I do. I take a dive down the inside and it almost paid off. And had to brake slightly early there because history would have repeated itself otherwise, but as soon as he thinks he's going to block me, I simply find a way down the inside, and immediately that is how I pass him. And like we've done so often up to this point of the championship, we have left the pack far behind us. Very much showcasing why this championship is very much a two-way battle. Basically. But anyway, yeah. So we continue our ascent into very much dominating the championship in both 1 and 2. And the gap is still 1.3 seconds. Of course, I do know the AI tend to be better around Hong Kong than they do other street circuits. That's probably why the gap is currently low. But I think at this point, because I have the stronger tyre longevity, I think I should be able to break away from him, as I have done so often up to this point of the championship. So 2.3 seconds is now the gap. And it looks as though at this point, like, the intervals are very much telling the story at this point. It was nice while the battle lasted, but inevitably I was gonna easily break away from him as soon as I took the lead. I think there's a good possibility that with the way I just seem to keep ramping up victories with my compromise in both good grip as well as good tyre consistency, it seems pretty obvious to me that at this point we are very much running away with this, as we have 1 lap to go. I'm now 4.8 seconds clear of the Zonda. This probably is what I thought was going to happen either way. And I've gone too deep. Okay, just because I'm leading, it does not automatically mean that I can just suddenly fall apart and start making mistakes. So we've got virtually a 5-second gap here at Hong Kong. it seems unlikely for this battle to get resolved any other way. But either way, there we go. I win! So, 9 minutes and 11 seconds is how long it took me to get through that. And the Subaru does manage to take another 3rd place in the standings. So that means the battle for 3rd is going to resume. So 5 races down, and I am very much the runaway leader at this point, with a 50-point advantage over the Zonda. The Honda is 3rd, Subaru is still 4th, the Mitsubishi is 5th, and the Toyota is still 6th. No real changes there then, virtually. As after 5 races, we have now gained 100,000 credits. Now let's move on to our next race, which, if I remember correctly, is Test Course. Yes, it is. It is Test Course. So, speed is going to be the name of the game here, and although I don't consider myself to be at a top speed disadvantage, I'm going to adjust the gears just in case, because I don't want to keep hitting the rev limiter and watching the engine just literally cut out every about probably 10 seconds or so, once we fully get up to speed. Anyway, here we go. 2 laps around Test Course. Can we make it 6 in a row? I certainly hope we can. As I am less than 2 seconds behind the Zonda. Can I catch up to him? I certainly hope I can. So hitting 200 now as we're up the banking. This could be my only loss of the championship if the gap stays the way it is, but I don't feel like that's going to be the way it ends, because I did give my car some extra speed just in case, and not really closing the gap, so it looks as though I might have to settle for 2nd here. Unless I can somehow catch him out in the braking zones, because I know he's going to brake. It's just a matter of when. Okay, so I am closing the gap. But the real question is, will it be enough to catch up to him? That's the only question I really have. I feel like I can catch him, but at the same time, I know 1 second around here is usually pretty hard to overcome. Well, 2 seconds is definitely hard to overcome, but I think I do have the speed. It's 1.3 seconds. Okay, well, my slightly better speed is closing in at least. But I need to be within a second if I'm really gonna get caught up to him. Or if that doesn't happen, then that's fine. I do want to make sure that I do this fair and square. I could use the nitrous if I really wanted to, but I'm not exactly going to use it just yet. I think my pace is pretty good the way it is. So I just have to hope I can catch up to him on raw speed. Or if that isn't the case, then I'll just have to redo the race and basically use the nitrous. Oh, I am in the suck. I am definitely in the draft. There's no surrendering now. I caught him napping at just the right time, and then right there was where I stopped him. I suddenly got caught up in the suck, and then that was basically what boosted my chances of winning. So, yeah. Well, at least I can say we only have to race a test course precisely 3 times in the career mode. Unless you account for the slipstream battles, then in which case it's 7 times. But against all the odds, I managed to outpace the Zonda. And just like that, I beat him by 1.2 seconds. And the Honda also finishes. First time that's happened. First time that's officially happened in this championship. And the battle for the Super Touring Car class is definitely heating up. The way I see it. So 60 points to me, 36 points to the Zonda, 21 points to the Honda, 18 points to the Subaru, 15 points to the Mitsubishi, and 6 points to the Toyota RSC. That's probably the only time you're going to see me do that, but anyway. 6 races down, and we are 120,000 credits up. So let's now go and do the do with our next race at beginner course. I don't think I've actually saved a replay at beginner course yet, if I remember correctly. No, I haven't. Well, 27 laps. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I can guarantee you the AI will be making pit stops during this one. So I'm going to go with the Super Slicks for this one, just so I don't have to pit. Because I know the AI will definitely pit in this race. Some of them definitely will. Because we're doing 27 laps around this joint. Oh, okay. Only 7 points if we win. Well, that's fine. But either way, I still have the Super Slicks on because, well, I figured tyre wear is going to be the name of the game. As I already make my first pass of the race, and now passing the Toyota. Not quite a double pass, but still a pass nonetheless, and now clearing the Honda. And at this point, I would say we are very much going to be in a class of our own again. This course is less than half a mile long, so I reckon it's going to be a pretty easy win once we get down to it. It's only 1 point plus compared to what it normally would be. And in all honesty, I can cope with that. We've done 6 races up to this point, and this is now officially race number 7. This may be the smallest part of the Dream Car Championship, and getting a little bit of oversteer there as I got caught out by the grass. Not really doing anything to mount a challenge to the Pagani just yet. But I think as we go further and further along, I'm pretty sure his tyres are going to wear out. And that's going to be my best shot to pass him. As the gap is now 2.1 seconds after 5 laps. Still many more to go. I reckon I probably am going to overlap at least someone before this race is done, possibly more, because we're doing 27 laps around here after all. So I'm steadily nipping away the gap, as it's now 1.5 seconds. I think a shot at passing is definitely going to be possible before all is said and done. And I'm now starting to set lap times in the sub-22s. And I think the traffic is going to give the Zonda trouble here, from what I can see. Also, the Toyota is actually doing a pretty good job holding on to 5th at the moment. Although then again, the Toyota does come with the racing super slicks, so that probably doesn't surprise me too much. Anyway, 8 laps down, still another 19 laps to go if you include this one. The Zonda is very much blocked by the Subaru. And now the Subaru gets out of the way, and we were almost 3 wide through turn 1. And trying to make sure I keep it clean with the Toyota. That's what I do. And now I am very much battling the Pagani. And the Zonda was really aggressive there on the outside. I mean, he literally forced me into the grass when he was trying to pull off that outside pass. So, suffice to say, we are very much in hand-to-hand combat for this one. Because we both seem to keep nipping away at each other's mistakes. This is very much short track racing from what I can see, because of the way we're battling at the moment. And I'm up the inside of the Zonda. And now we've overlapped the Honda NSXR prototype. And the Zonda runs wide. And that is officially his battle done. So that now gives me the breathing space. I have pretty much overlapped everyone in the field except for the Zonda. I had a feeling that was going to happen, and he still hasn't cleared the Honda. I'm also going to assume the reason why he keeps getting loose is because his tyres must be fading at this point. But me, with my self-conscious attention to detail, and also attention to making sure that my car lasts the duration of so many laps around such a short course, well, I prove again that tyre longevity is very much the key. So we've got 10 laps to go now, and the gap is almost 2.8 seconds now to the Pagani, and he still hasn't cleared the Honda. I know it's a pretty close race between the two of us, but I mean seriously, he has still not cleared the Honda. And I think partly the reason for that might be because he's struggling with his tyres. I mean, I'm basically just coaxing at this point, because I want to make sure that my car holds on. So the gap is 2.2 seconds. Still pretty close between us, even though at this stage of the race he has still not managed to clear the Honda. So tyre wear must be a real problem for the Zonda right now, which is why he is not clearing the Honda. And up the inside of the Toyota again. I actually do find it funny to say that of all the field fillers to have in a championship, the one they chose for this one happened to be the Toyota RSC Rally Raid car. As the Subaru and Mitsubishi are very much engaging their battle in the Super Touring class. And I think at this point I am now well clear of the Zonda, as long as I don't do that too many times. Well, still no clearance from the Zonda, from what I can see. As I have now put half the field 2 laps down. And I think everyone else is going to be either on the same lap as me or 1 lap down. By the way, I refer to both the Zonda and the Honda, if you're asking, over who is still going to be on the same lap. Also, I just noticed something. Honda and Zonda. Both of those words actually rhyme. The Honda and the Zonda. And the Zonda is pitting, so that has automatically given me the race win. The way I see things. He's not going to lose second, but he is going to be on a fresh set of tyres, and I am now going to put him 1 lap down, as a result of him needing to change his tyres. So I have officially overlapped the field because of my tyre longevity, and all that took me was 10 minutes to set 27 laps around here. Very much the perfect definition of a short track. So 1 lap ahead of the Zonda, 2 laps ahead of both the Impreza and the FTO, and also the Toyota, and also 1 lap ahead of the Honda as well. I probably would have been just fine on the racing hards, but I chose the super hards because I wanted to make absolutely sure that tyre wear was not going to be an issue here. And right at the finish, the Impreza also pits. But anyway, that's the way the standings look after 7 races, and we still have another 3 to go. And all that took me was half an hour to get through part 2 of this championship. So in all honesty, That's actually not too bad. And now I will save the replay here at beginner course. I think that's also the last time that we race at beginner course, if I'm not mistaken, in the mainstream career mode of the game. Of course, I have a feeling beginner course will probably pop up somewhere in the One Make events, if I remember correctly. But either way, there we go. Part 2 of Dream Car Championship is done, as is episode 96 of this game. So now we've got just 2 races to go. As next up will be part 3, where we head to Le Mans, El Capitan, and Monaco to finish off the second championship of the Extreme Series. Coming in the next episode.